And it's Evan here. I'm with Anupama from Broadcom at MWC Barcelona. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you, Ivan.
It's been a great week. We're going to dive into all things MWC, but before that, introduce yourself, your role within Broadcom, and what is your team up to?
Yeah, thank you. So my name is Anupama Mahabhashyam. I lead product marketing and the VCF division for service provider solutions. So we are really excited because we just announced our new VMware Telco Cloud Platform 9. So we are really excited to meet our customers, partners, and analysts.
And you have a huge ecosystem of partners and relationships here at MWC. Tell us about the vibe here on the ground and some of the feedback from the big announcement.
Yeah, so the what really stuck at MWC this year is it's quite different from what I have seen in the previous years. So AI has stopped, it's like the conversation is no longer about potential, right? It's about what it actually is, can start doing things. So every operator that we spoke to or what you are actually showing in the vibe that you see on the show floor, it's completely different. They are not asking that, okay, should we actually do the AI? They're actually saying that we want to do it, how fast we can do it. So the conversations, it's impressive that the infrastructure conversation totally caught up onto AI conversations. And telcos especially, they understand they can't have one without the another. So network is critical, data is critical, and telcos are in a very good position because they actually are sitting on both of them. So that's the different vibe that you have seen from the previous years.
Oh, that's so well said. And really, it looks like telcos are trying to take control of their own destiny and not rely on necessarily big tech or the hyperscalers or others, but really create their own sovereign AI clouds and ecosystems. What needs to happen for telcos to really capture this opportunity?
Yeah, that's a really question. So before I dive into what opportunity, right? So let's figure out, like, at its core, sovereignty comes down to 5 different traits, in my opinion. So operational control is must be local, essentially, and then you should not have an external jurisdiction. All your workloads and your metadata, everything has to be within the borders. Then the operations has to be vetted by the local staff. And then the compliance is not just a one-time certification check and you are done. It's an ongoing process, and you need to be continuously aligned with the industry and national regulations. So I think telcos are in a have a huge opportunity to become the sovereign AI infrastructure providers, in our opinion. The reason is that they are already well positioned to operate and are actually own the infrastructure, which is regulated, trusted by the government and nationals. And that's a huge opportunity for them to leverage this opportunity and start generating or providing AI services to their customers. So that's a huge opportunity to tap into. And that's where our role as the VMware Telco Cloud Platform taps into. We are helping the operators to see this vision and helping them become the sovereign network and sovereign providers with our solution, essentially.
Well, that's fantastic. And of course, you have to get the architecture right. You have to get the strategy right. And I know you're helping with that. And then hopefully AI will drive not just traffic on the network, but revenue. What are you seeing? What are the operators telling you about their readiness to drive traffic and revenue around AI?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. I think that's the argument that everybody is talking about, right? I think, in my opinion, in an honest answer, the meaningful AI-driven traffic has not been completely materialized by the operators' networks. But I think it's slowly emerging, and I think we can see that there is a significant change that is happening beneath the surface. So what I mean by that is it's really important to understand that the impact of AI doesn't come almost like a tsunami, right? It actually gradually comes, and I think the majority of AI infrastructure activity, it's happening in the networks that I think the traditional access-bound operators do not have visibility into it. So I think what it helps is, like, I think they are thinking, or they are actually lacking, is that, oh, their network is not going to show up. So it might be a problem for them because there might be a burst of traffic that is actually happening elsewhere in the network. So it's important to understand that. Another important point is, with this AI evolution, the traditional way of network traffic from AI applications like text-based applications to now video and voice applications, I think that amount of volume or the data has increased tremendously. So with this, there is so much of exchange of data between the network that is happening, both the directions. So that means I think if the foundation is not laid right, I think the operators who are waiting for the traffic to come suddenly burst at them, I think they'll be at a risk and they will not be able to tap on this opportunity.
Yeah, that would be a shame. And data readiness is one of the keys to execution. Of course, there's skill sets and tooling. And what are some of the obstacles to overcome when it comes to execution, not just the vision or the strategy?
Yeah, I think the important barrier that I think I see is that, or we think is that, they're confused about AI, thinking about AI and actually doing it. And then the real complexity, when they actually go into the real engine, that's when the complexity hits. It's just that I think let's take a few examples, right? I think it's, again, everything boils down to infrastructure and data management. For example, if they want to fundamentally run a simple model, right? You can't just go into an external repository, download a 200 gigabit model, and then assume that you're going to repeat this process every single time you want to spin up a new instance. That is not scalable, first of all. It's not secure, and moreover, it's not reliable because it's just, I think the amount of what you are actually tapping into, it's not even a thing. So you need essentially the governance and model governance in order to do that. And then the next aspect is, like I mentioned, to go into deeper about the model governance. There are there's platforms like Hugging Face. You have millions of model. So what model my organization is running and who is actually authorizing it or who is approving it, what version I should be using, all this. So if you don't have that cloud maturity or model maturity model that is not sitting right next to your infrastructure, you lose control very quickly. So that's a big problem. And then the next problem that we can think about is about the orchestration of data, essentially, like how do you, so essentially matching a model with the GPU capacity. I don't want to do over subscription, so I want to ensure that everything is going smoothly. So for that, you need to have some kind of correlation and
connection.
Yeah, the connection essentially. So I think for that, the intelligent orchestration, I think operators who are emerging from being this ambitious driven to actually implementing, they have started realize that, so in order to implement this, having an intelligent infrastructure is equally important, as intelligent as the AI layer on top of it. So I think that's a big change that we are seeing, and I think that's where VMware Private AI as a service actually really helps. So what it does is it removes the complexity that we just talked about, removes the plumbing that you need to do, and it abstracts the complexity, and it gives you the services that, instead of that, you can actually focus on the use cases that you want to deliver to your customers rather than the internal details that you don't need to worry about.
That's fantastic. Any final takeaways from what you're hearing from the operators? What are they excited about this year as they get into private AI and sovereign and GPU as a service? They have so many ideas on the table. What are you hearing and seeing?
So I think what I see is that I think one of the important aspects before they implement all these different use cases and agentic AI, there are a few things that they need to understand in order to tap the real opportunity, right? You see that I think Telcos started to realize, in my opinion, which I can clearly see in the MWC, with millions of subscribers, thousands of services, and so many operational team, hundreds of operational team doing it. They realize that AI can really help them triage their issues and then find the root causes and provide solution very easily, right? Wow. But I think the important thing that needs to happen before that implementing is, the reason for all this is the data is like humongous. They have the diversity, and also the scale of data that they own is tremendous. So it's important that first the data needs to be organized, it needs to be structured so that there's no information silos that you have. in your organization. So then, because Gen AI mimics the silos essentially as soon as you have it. So first, that's the first step. And the second, like what we discussed earlier, the governance needs to be there. It needs to know who is accessing it, what are they actually using it for, and then what is the outcome that is expected out of this, right? That's important. And then finally, I think it's about the connection of all these two things, and then bringing in the use cases that actually matters to the business outcomes and business. So are you doing it for impact to your business strategy, or is it a customer experience that you want to improve, or you are doing it for your operational efficiency? All this matter, and I think with so many things coming with the agentic AI, I'm sure that we will have so much of autonomous networks that maybe the issues are resolved automatically without even a customer knowing it actually. So
well, that would be a dream.
Exactly.
And congrats on doing all of the hard lifting and magic behind the scenes of the telcos. Well done.
Thank you so much.
And thanks so much. Have a great MWC.
You too. Bye bye.